The new Supreme Court decision that could have a lot of people in the tri-state on the streets, but it also depends on where you live.
Tracking when we could see drenching showers and thunderstorms and what to expect by morning.
And New York Live with your backstage pass to dozens of Broadway shows with the new exhibit in Times Square. This is News 4 Now for August 26th. I'm Gilma Avalos. The Supreme Court has blocked the Biden administration's eviction moratorium, but the decision will impact people across the tri-state differently. President Biden is urging governors to create moratoriums to help, but not all states are the same. Connecticut doesn't have an eviction moratorium. New Jersey's eviction moratorium runs through the end of the year. New York's eviction moratorium runs through the end of this month. New York and New Jersey's moratoriums will still apply to any renter who needs protection until it expires or until state lawmakers take action. And after that, anyone behind on rent will be subject to local eviction proceedings.
People still need help. Our economy is still struggling. People are still struggling. Psychologically, everyone's struggling. So to throw that in people's faces and be throwing them out of their homes seems cruel.
It's a terrible thing, but I think a lot of landlords are struggling as well. So I'm actually not sure what the solution is.
Not the right decision. I think that all together we have to take care of one another.
Roughly 3.5 million people in the U.S. say they face eviction within the next 2 months. We've got some new disturbing video of a shooting at a hair salon on Staten Island. Security footage from inside the salon shows people sitting in chairs getting their hair done when two masked men walk up to the window and one of them opens fire. This happened Wednesday along Victory Boulevard in the Tompkinsville section. The gunman fired several shots through the window before both suspects ran off. A 35-year-old woman was hit twice in the lower body. A 17-year-old girl was grazed in the head. Both victims are expected to survive. The Manhattan Federal Jail where Jeffrey Epstein died and housed some of the most notorious criminals is closing. The Justice Department announced its sudden plans to close the Metropolitan Correctional Center. The Federal Bureau of Prisons says the building needs improvements to its crumbling infrastructure and to its security. Last year, a smuggled gun, homemade weapons, and restricted contraband were found inside that facility. Most of the inmates will be transferred to a federal jail in Brooklyn. New legislation aims to crack down on noisy vehicles on New York City streets. City Councilman Ben Kallos has introduced an automated noise enforcement proposal. He says New Yorkers have had enough with cars blasting music and ATV and motorcycle gangs revving engines as they speed through the streets. The legislation would use video cameras and microphones to catch these loud vehicles. Police would review the equipment and issue fines to violators. For a second time this summer, a Jersey Shore beach had to close because of needles washing up on the sand. And these are exclusive pictures from Monmouth Beach. Needles washed up in front of the Municipal Beach Pavilion just north of Long Branch. Lifeguards closed the beach Thursday afternoon after finding those needles. The town's mayor believes people flush syringes down the toilet and they end up on the beach after heavy rainfall. On Long Island, 4 beaches in the town of Huntington are closed to swimming, and they'll stay that way for the rest of the summer. The reason? Not enough trained lifeguards. Town officials say too many of them are no longer available to work because they've headed back to school.
College students left early for college, and most of our high school students, a lot of them are athletes, and they already started their fall programs, and they couldn't work.
But the town of Huntington says there's enough staffing to allow swimming at its 4 other beaches, and that list includes Centerport, Crab Meadow, Hobart, and Quentin Samus West Neck Beach.
Hi there, I'm Storm Team 4 meteorologist Maria LaRosa. This is the last of the really hot days. The humidity we are stuck with for a little bit longer. But through dinner time, temperature staying in the mid-80s, feels like temperatures pretty close to 90 degrees and eventually cooling down as a boundary comes through. But you can see along with that the chance for some showers and thunderstorms. So from the evening overnight into tomorrow morning, there is that chance, and there is also that opportunity for some of these to produce a lot of heavy rain pretty quickly. So we have the flash flood watch posted for most of New Jersey. That started this afternoon, goes through overnight and actually into Saturday evening. So expect the potential for some flash flooding. There are still some rivers and creeks that are running high from Henri's rain a couple days ago. Temperature-wise, once we get down into the 70s, we stay there, a low of 73 for the city, not much warmer as we get to the high temperatures.
Showing you the magic of Broadway. New York Live with the new exhibit that gives you an up-close look at the costumes from the Great White Way's biggest shows. And that's not all.
How would you like a backstage pass to dozens of different Broadway shows? Well, there is a new interactive exhibit in the heart of Times Square giving you just that. And let me tell you, it's a showstopper. Brian, we are talking showstoppers, spectacular costumes from stage and screen, and we are being upstaged right now by the ladies of Six. What is going on here?
We have decided to try to raise some funds, a recovery fund for the Costume Industry Coalition, by showcasing not only our work here at an abandoned motels in Times Square, but we're also going to show off our process.
You know, I know my Broadway people, we love a good name drop. So just name drop all of the different shows that we'll be able to see the costumes
seriously?
from.
Okay, well, you know we're standing 2 feet away from Cher. So Cher is here. From Broadway, we've got a little Wicked, Phantom, Moulin Rouge. They're going to kill me if I forget one of them. Frozen. We even have a little teaser from Mrs. Doubtfire in there. American Ballet Theater is here, represented by Whipped Cream. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Dickinson. So we've got quite a few. We have over 100 costumes on display.
The amazing thing about the exhibit is that it's not just costumes. We also are showing people how the work is made. So within the exhibit, there are workstations, and people can come and watch people and ask questions and see what it is that we actually really do, how the costumes come to fruition.
So let's talk about some of the costumes that you had a hand in here at this exhibit.
Here is Aladdin, and we make him. The beading is the thing about Aladdin. We make Mufasa.
Why is this giving me Maisel vibes?
Because
this
it is. Yeah.
And you know a little something about that show, don't you?
I do. We make Rose Weissman's clothes. Hamilton's one of our big shows. My shop makes Angelica and Eliza.
If Angelica and Eliza could talk, what would they say?
Get me back on stage, please.
Yeah.
Please, get me in front of an audience again.
Be sure to check out Showstoppers. The exhibit will be here through September 26th, and tickets are $29. How'd I do, Cher?
The highly destructive spotted lanternfly has landed in Central Park. The pests are not harmful to humans or pets, but that's not the case for trees and plants. News 4's Mark Santia shows you what's being done to get rid of them.
Under a tranquil canopy of trees here in Central Park, big trouble is brewing with this little bug, the spotted lanternfly.
And we predict that unless people do prevention, it is going to spread. They're excellent.
Dr. Jessica Ware works at the American Museum of Natural History right across from Central Park. She has spotted the pest and is sounding the alarm.
When we think about the potential economic impact, then I would say it's quite dangerous.
The spotted lanternfly can ravage more than 70 trees and plants, including apples and grapes, two major New York crops.
In concern, for our farmers and for people who have their livelihood in agriculture, we really want to prevent the spread of this invasive species.
Here in New York, we all know the phrase, if you see something, say something. Well, experts say when it comes to the lanternfly, if you see something, squash something.
They're a very invasive species, and they hurt the environment. So whenever I've seen them, I just squish them right away.
Mady Erickson knows the danger with 8 counties in her native New Jersey under quarantine.
And they're actually pretty. They're not an ugly bug. They look pretty, but still kill them.
Those feelings echoed by the Central Park Conservancy. They've taken to social media asking visitors, all visitors, to be on the lookout and squish the bug.
Yeah, we're looking for that, just like for killing, because actually if it's hurting so much the park, we have to protect it.
In Central Park, Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.